While the former president only appeared for 5 days of testimony, he was named by various witnesses throughout the year. In February, 2 witnesses discussed a watershed ANC-NEC meeting in 2011.
Fikile Mbalula, who sort of started, who triggered the entire discussion.
The person who bore responsibility for appointments to cabinet is the president.
This was the first, to the best of my knowledge, the first confirmation which was in the form of I'm saying a very emotional statement by then Minister Mbalula about how he'd been appointed.
Rajesh Sundaram cited Duduzane Zuma's ties to ANN7 via Mabangela Investments.
Duduzane Zuma was the person who was a director, was a shareholder in the company. It was President Zuma who was more actively involved.
The conflict, myself being the son of the president at that time, my father being in office, I think that's an unfair point to make.
I suggested the paper to them, I suggested the channel. Somebody can then say we're abusing this friendship. It was never the other way around. It's me who put them into trouble.
Sundaram sat down for an exclusive interview with ENCA.
Ajay Gupta was the head in that sense of the family, and he was the one who did all the direct negotiations with the government, with President Zuma. He's very close to President Zuma as well.
He claimed Ajay Gupta boasted about his clout,
telling everybody that he had President Zuma in his pocket.
Like Sundaram, Lord Peter Hain travelled from abroad to testify. He holds banks and consultancies liable for enabling state capture.
The international dimension, which has been the focus of my evidence, that is absolutely crucial. This didn't only occur because they were corrupt ministers or politicians. It occurred because the international community wasn't doing its job to stop financial crime, and in my view still isn't doing it. So this could happen again unless there are big reforms in the way banking works, the way the financial system works, and the way that governments, particularly some of those I've mentioned, operate. It's not good enough to say this is a South African problem, this is an international problem. Trillions of dollars a year are laundered and looted around the world, and it's going to continue if it's not stopped.
Mzwanele Manyi fielded questions on his exit from the Labour Department and entrance into government communications in place of Themba Maseko.
I was a pawn.
Manyi accused the Commission of ambushing him.
It is my opinion that people that sit on this chair are not treated the same. There are those whose evidence is properly led, and they're even reminded about things that they need to say in their own affidavits. There are people that are treated nicely like that here. There are some of us who come here to be crucified and all that. And we are ready to deal with it. But the only thing we're asking for is fairness.
The Freda Dairy project was another focus at the inquiry, as was a scammy asbestos audit in the Free State.
This project was a brazen act of corruption.
Mxolisi Dukwana was forthright.
Mr. Magashule was simply a blesser to many.
It appears the chairperson is well versed with the concept of blesser and a blessing.
Well, the chairperson reads newspapers and...
Mr. Magashule's suitable place of abode in public is a jail cell.
You will know about Mxolisi Dukwana with time.
It was not the first time Dukwana slammed Magashule.
I was also startled that the Premier of the province brought me to the Gupta compound with the sole intention of corruptly and unlawfully advancing commercial interests of the Guptas.
They are lies about me and the Guptas. Wait and see.
Tony intimated to me that both Magashule and Duduzane Zuma were recipients of monies in cash from a mining project from Jagasfontein Mine.
I do not agree that this meeting took place. I'm always placed in the middle of these discussions.
Yes.
And I happen to be a couch or a lampshade in these meetings. Didn't see anything, I don't say anything.
Other focus areas included Denel, Eskom, Transnet and SAA. In October, Eskom's sponsorship of the New Age breakfasts was in question. Former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba came under fire.
He says, "I deny that I ever gave any such instruction. Such would amount to me, as a representative of a state shareholder, interfering with the operational matters of Eskom, which I never did."
He had interfered in the operations of the business on many occasions.
Talking of Gigaba, he's accused of lobbying for a competitor to the national airline. Former CEO Caesar Mzimela supported earlier claims.
It was not right for Mr. Naresh to be trying to go via the minister. I do know that we went into the minister's office. He would still like SAA and Jet Airways to try and find each other. Those are his words.
A former CFO slammed the carrier's former board chair.
You've got a shelf life with Miss Mieni. If you don't do certain instructions, and then she related instances where she will go to Sunnyside Cafe and disguise herself and write whistleblowing emails.
We certainly are going to be presenting and responding to what is taking place at Zondo Commission. We welcome the Commission. We are happy that things are surfacing.
The Brotherhood of the Blue Curtain.
In April, the former head of the police watchdog spoke.
There was an attack on anti-corruption institutions. Criminal syndicates and corruption syndicates, not that there's a difference between the two, require good senior policemen not to investigate.
Testimony on a Northwest racket points to politicians. Babadi Tlatsana implicated former SA Express manager Brian van Wyk.
He said the total amount of money that they have spent is 400,000 that they have paid for. The
400,000?
Yes, 400,000 that they have paid for ANC 104 celebration. He would boast to me that he's a high person in the ANC, and I'm asking too much questions.
But what did you think the ANC would do to you that you were fearing?
To be killed, Chair. Now 15 million is the one that is shooting for the two ministers. It's Minister Dipuo Peters and Minister Len Brown. And he further continued to say that there's this Tonakolo, number one of the province, needed 10 million, but he's been paid 5 million.
Tlatsana fled the country after testifying. Toward the end of the year, the chair granted several cross-examinations. Ranjani Munsami has leave to cross-examine Colonel Dhananjaya Naidu. He testified on a loan settlement for the journalist's car, tying the payment to a company under investigation by the Hawks. Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe is set to cross-examine Bosasa witnesses. This over claims he unduly benefited from security upgrades paid for by the company. In early 2019, former Bosasa COO Angelo Agrizzi threw mud at the press. He claimed the following of director Papa Leshabane.
He was paying journalists as well.
Correct.
To do what?
Chair, to give information and to work with them.
For many, the most consistently shocking evidence of 2019 concerns the company formerly known as Bosasa. In part 3, we hear about a Louis Vuitton handbag, 19,000 rand shoes, luxury cars, custom-built homes and cold hard cash, all allegedly kickbacks. Stay tuned.